Deadhallow Halls is a fairly straightforward heist and can be completed by treating it as one big circuit. There are a number of hidden rooms throughout the lair, but you actually don't need to know any of these as they are never used. Instead, your objective will be to collect items from free treasure chests, and these always spawn in the same three locations that you're about to see. To begin with, head towards the first room, and once there, head diagonally to the right hand side of the room, being careful of the tripwire that has been placed across the door. There are a number of tripwires in this heist, and they can be disarmed by moving up to them in stealth and clicking E. Next, carefully follow this NPC around the corridor. This heist will either have lantern-bearing sentry NPCs like you see here, or trap-laying NPCs, so just be aware of the different tactics needed for each. You'll also notice there are several baskets scattered throughout Deadhallow Halls, which you can hide from NPCs within. However, with this NPC they are not required, as once they get into the next room, they will move off to the left and leave you with enough space to get past them on the right. Once you get into the room, head diagonally to the right again to the far right hand corner where the first chest is waiting. However, be aware that there is an NPC that patrols in front of this chest and quite quickly returns, so make sure you time it carefully so that you get enough time to get to the chest and unlock it before they return. Once you have got the first item, head up the ramp behind you and then head to the first basket you see whilst waiting for another NPC to walk past you. Whilst you're against the clock doing heists, half the battle is about knowing when to have a little bit of patience and waiting for NPCs to move past you so that you can carry on. Once that guard has passed you, jump out of the basket and head down the rest of the corridor. Be aware that there is another tripwire across the door to the next room. The chest in this room is possibly the most difficult to get to. There are a few NPCs in this room, and like the chest in the last room, there is an NPC that patrols in front of it. The chest is located against the far wall, and the NPC here returns much quicker than the last NPC, so you really need to get in there, unlock it, and then head out the other door as fast as you can. If you struggle with picking locks, it may be advisable to invest some skill points into forced locks. In the next corridor, there is an NPC who patrols back and forth without any baskets to hide in. To get past him, head to behind this rock on the right and wait for the NPC to return. As mentioned in part 1 of this video series, even if you are not in stealth and are in range of the NPC, they will not spot you if their line of sight is blocked, and this rock does that job nicely. Once he has passed you, re-enter stealth and carry on. There is a tripwire at the top of the stairs, so pay attention to it, and furthermore be aware that if you have trap-laying NPCs, they will have laid a flare trap in front of this tripwire that needs to be disabled first. Once you have passed the traps, turn right at the split in the corridor ahead, heading on around to the room with the third chest. There is a sentry NPC who moves from the room ahead and back down the corridor you are currently running. But there is a basket just before the doorway, and you can jump into that to hide and wait for them to pass you by. Alternatively, if it's a trap-laying NPC, it is also possible whilst they are in the room to move into the room and hide just under the platform in front of the door until they have passed. Once you are free to move into the room, go through the door, but don't head right where there are a number of NPCs, but instead turn left, following the wall all the way around where you should be able to get to the other side without being spotted. As with the other two chests, there is an NPC who patrols in front of it, but they'll possibly take the longest to return out of the three. If it is a trap-laying NPC, however, just be aware that they will place a trap on the ramp leading up to the chest, so they will need to be disabled first before you can approach the chest to claim the final item. Once you have the final item, head back down the ramp and towards the door straight ahead of you. Be careful not to get too close to the NPCs that are on the left. We are now on the home run and just have to get out of this lair before the timer runs out. There are a couple of spots you can hide in on this corridor, the first basket being located just there, and the second one can be located just around the corner. There is a sentry or trap-laying NPC who patrols up and down this corridor, so you need to make sure that you hide from them and wait for them to pass. If it is a trap laying NPC, they will place a flare trap in front of the door you will shortly need to be passing through. And of course, having got the final item, the boss has spawned and the patrols in this area, so make sure you keep an eye out for them and remain hidden as they pass you. It is highly advisable not to engage them in combat as they are tougher than your normal NPC and you are trying to beat the timer. Once you are free to move again, head into the next room, hugging the pillar on the left here so you can avoid the two NPCs with their backs to you on the right, and head diagonally towards the door. Once you have passed this corner, you can drop out stealth as there are no more enemies and can now sprint towards the finish, hopefully within the time limit to score a perfect run. I would be pleased if you subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos like this. If you're wondering how I can get so close to some of the NPCs without being spotted or can move as fast as I do in stealth, I'd highly recommend checking out the first video in this series about the Elder Scrolls Online's Thief Heists, which gives a large number of hints and tips that you may find useful. Completing perfect runs of Thief Heists will reward you with chapters of the Thief's Guild motif, and you can check out what this outfit looks like with Tianlein's video that I will link in the bottom right.